Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Weep and this is the Prairie podcast. We welcome you back for another episode. We're excited to have you here with us. If you are a prospective student, a parent of a student, a teacher, faculty, alumni, person interested in Prairie, whoever you are, we are excited to have you join us today. And today we have a very special guest with us, Providence Whitehead. So Providence, why don't you introduce yourself to us, who you are, what you're doing at Prairie, how you got here. Let's hear the details.
Okay, yeah, so as Andrew said, I'm Providence. I am in my fourth year of the Theology program here at Prairie. That is not the program I started out in, fun fact. My first year I was a worship leading student, and then switched into Theology. I'm from Southern Ontario, and the way I got here was pretty cool. I graduated high school in 2020, so COVID.
Okay.
And so it's like, oh, what do I do? Ended up staying home and working, and then got involved in the young adults group at my church. And a girl that had graduated from Prairie ended up moving all the way out to Hamilton, and we became friends. And she's like, I think you'd really fit in well in like the community in Prairie. You'd get along, like the people that I know, like I feel like you would be friends with them. You would be able to just get involved and fit in really nicely. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it maybe. But then it just kept coming up that year again and again from other people. And then I was like, hey God, is this what you want me to do? So I applied, and then I showed up in the fall of 2021.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you here on the campus. And as a fourth year student, that's 4 years of learning, 4 years of being here on campus. I'm curious, in your time here at Prairie, what may be the biggest lesson that you have learned? What's the biggest thing that you've learned during your time here at Prairie?
I think one of the biggest things is definitely how much I don't actually know. Just the amount of things that I have been taught in the last, at this point, 3.5 years, because I still have a semester left, it's just been mind-blowing. And so it's just really cool to realize, there's always going to be something more to learn, and I'll never, make it in terms of knowing all the things about God or about theology, like anything. There's always more to learn, which is just been really cool.
That is really cool. It reminds me of a conversation I just had with someone today. He's later on in his years. I won't say how old, but he was saying that even still now he's learning, and he believes that God is still teaching him. And I think that's really cool. That's the lesson that you've been able to learn, is that there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, and thinking maybe a little deeper, and maybe in a couple different areas, how have you grown during your time at Prairie? So, you're learning that you don't know everything, and that you're learning you need to learn more. But are there areas in your life, different characteristics, different ways God has been leading? What areas have you grown?
Well, I've had the amazing opportunity to lead worship, lead like chapel music at Prairie since my first year, actually, which is really cool. So I've been leading worship teams, and one thing I've really grown in is my confidence, and just the confidence I have in those abilities that God has given me. And so being in front of the whole student body, a couple of times a month leading worship, and then also was on student union my second year, served as the commissioner of spiritual life, and then was leading worship pretty regularly through that. And just the confidence in being in front of people, and just believing that, God has gifted me in this way on purpose, and I'm able to use these gifts for his glory. But just, practical things like I'm a lot more comfortable in front of people than I was when I showed up a few years ago.
Really? Sorry, and I'm curious, you had a lot of experience before coming to Prairie, correct?
Yes, I've been leading worship since I was about 14 years old.
Oh wow, okay.
And so but it was different, very much smaller churches, smaller camps, always with family. So just having just the opportunity to be in charge of a worship team, facilitating, not having somebody check or look over my shoulder, making sure that everything was correct. It was very much, I was trusted to just go with it. And this year, my SALT position on campus, so my student leadership position, is actually helping facilitate all of the worship teams on campus. Yeah,
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. So
cool.
I'm leading a worship team, and then also helping mentor the other worship leaders as they are leading their teams, which has been so cool.
That is really cool, and another great opportunity for growing.
Yeah, for sure.
So first, you learn how to step into the worship leader position, and now you're teaching other and training other worship leaders. Well, it's just next stage to next stage.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay, now maybe not as serious. It could be. Who knows? Because I want to hear from you. What has been your favorite experience? Maybe it's a class. Maybe it was a program, a professor. What's your favorite part about being here at Prairie? What was that?
Yeah, my most favorite experience as a student at Prairie would definitely have to be the Israel trip. Yeah,
okay.
you were on that trip
I
as
was,
well.
actually.
Yeah, so that was in May of 2023.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there was a big group of us students that all went down to Israel, and it was very much, the focus was on like biblical storytelling. And so I had to learn by heart 4 different stories. And then I shared those with the whole group at each of those locations. And then that the stories were at least suspected to have happened. And so that was just really, really cool, that whole experience, but especially like the learning the stories and sharing them. And it just, I don't know, holds a lot more weight just to see, oh yeah, like these are real places that we're studying about. It just, makes everything a lot more just tangible.
And, okay, and I'm curious, now, being back here in Canada, when you go to a service or when you're reading through the Bible, do the locations come into mind when you're reading?
Oh yeah, like
Okay.
I imagine the places that we were, right? And so like, just the mountains, or when we were, I'm gonna try
There was a lot.
There was a lot, so like mountains, we're in the Sea of Galilee. I remember that, just we're on a boat there, and so I'm reading, stories, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's what this looks like. And it's a lot more real almost.
It is.
Yeah.
And something I discovered is that things are a lot closer than sometimes you expect them to be.
Yeah, and so the whole idea of the Israelites wandering around in the desert, they're wandering in circles. It wouldn't have taken them that long. They had just obeyed God just to get where they needed to go. But they were just wandering in circles.
Oh, that's really cool. It was a wonderful experience, and it reminds me, I think Prairie's actually doing another Israel trip, 2026. So for anybody out there, if you're interested in learning more, feel free to contact us. We'd love to give you more info.
Yes, would highly recommend going on the trip.
And but something that I think is really cool about this trip, and maybe this is a bit of a low blow, but it tends to be a younger crowd. So it's a lot more active, it's a lot faster, a lot of hiking. But we had a wide diversity of people on the team, and it was a wonderful experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, now coming back to Prairie campus.
Right, yes.
Let's say there's a student or a person interested in becoming a student. What's something that you would say to a prospective person interested in Prairie?
I think that a really big thing would be, if you're choosing to come to Prairie, get involved in the community. Be intentional with your impact group. Be intentional with the people that live in the dorm with you. Be intentional about becoming friends with your classmates, because it makes the experience so much richer. Yeah.
Certainly, community here is invaluable. It is. It is one of the best communities that I've seen, and I think you probably attest to the same. Yeah, that's great. So, okay. Now we're going to take it one step deeper back to you. We've talked about what you've learned, talked about the areas you've grown, but I want to hear from you. What ways has God been teaching you lately? What's something that God's been putting on your heart lately?
I think, especially in the last few months, I've been reminded again and again just how important it is to rely on the people that God has put in our lives. And so I had a tough summer. I got a concussion right at the beginning of the summer and couldn't do a ton of stuff for myself. And I was living out here away from my family. And my friends really came alongside me and helped me, and just that kind of encouragement. And then just, throughout this first semester, just realizing that God has put people in my life on purpose so that we can serve each other. We're not created to live life alone. We're created to live life in community. And so going back to what I was saying about prospective students, get involved in community, I really didn't. I really didn't get involved in community well enough until this past year, and I regret it. It has been so much better this year, choosing to be in community and choosing to serve my friends and choosing to let my friends serve me. It's just been great. But definitely God has been teaching me through some of the trials of the last few months that nope, he has put people around me on purpose. And that is a way that he shows his love to us, by the people that he puts in our lives, which is just something that I've been thinking about a lot.
Wow, that's really awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that you're finding yourself more integrated this year. And I do hope that your final year is an awesome year. We're excited for you, excited to see where God takes you. We're thankful to having you on the podcast here. I don't have any final questions for you, but is there anything else you want to say to the listeners?
I didn't know that I was going to be asked.
It's always spontaneous.
Oh dear.
If you don't, then you don't.
I gotta think. Oh, I know.
Okay.
Learn Hebrew. It's lots of fun.
There we go. Thank you so much, Providence. So thankful having you here. It's been a wonderful time hearing more from you, learning more about you, where God's taking you. And so I do hope that you have a wonderful rest of the year, as I already said. And so for all of you out there, if you are interested in learning more what it is to be like a student, I'm sure Providence and many other students would love to engage with you. Feel free to send us questions. If you want to contact us, you can reach us at alumni@prairie.edu or marketing@prairie.edu. If you're interested in just checking out Prairie as a college, our website is prairie.edu.
Yes.
Simple as that. Thank you guys so much for listening today. It's been a wonderful pleasure. If you know someone that you want on the podcast, let us know that as well. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you, Providence.
Thank you, Andrew.